I'm not intimidated anymore by size. Yay me. Um, does that sound dirty? Hello. Okay, so basically, I started reading fantasy, romantic fantasy, for the first time in my life. And I know that I'm sold. I know that I am so sad I didn't start earlier. I'm not really sure why I didn't start earlier. I think it was mostly like I don't know. I thought I wasn't going to get it. Every time I saw a fantasy book, it was like 7,000 pages long, and it felt like a huge commitment to start reading something like that. And then the other fear was kind of the amount of time it was going to take to understand a world that is made up. So, names, places, cities, it just felt like a huge commitment that I wasn't willing to take. And then I started reading Akatar. It was like my first fantasy. It was my intro to fantasy. And I'm so happy that I started. I didn't know what to expect. And it was not hard at all to understand the world. It was not hard at all to like just fall in love with the characters. And then the message that it had was incredible. So today we are focusing on A Court of Silver Flames. This is a big one, okay? And now I'm not intimidated anymore by size. Yay me. Um, does that sound dirty? Well, I'm not intimidated anymore by the size of a book, okay? Because I just know that if it's a good story, if the plot is interesting, if the characters are engaging, if there's enough sexy scenes, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read all 700 pages of it. It's a fact. So, my thoughts on this book. And I totally did not warn that there will be spoilers throughout this entire video. There will be spoilers. So, if you want to read A Court of Silver Flames first, please do that because I'm going to be talking about this quite a lot. So, many spoilers. All right, starting with Miss Nesta. She is insufferable for the first part of this book. She still was being rude as hell, not only to her, but to um, Mr. Resand, which, like, I cannot stand any disrespect for Resand. Every time that this woman was like saying weird shit, I would be so mad. Like, you better respect, you better respect Resand. You better respect that man. He is the leader of the Night Court, okay, and the most powerful warrior ever to exist. So, the fact that this girl was just not intimidated to just talk crap on anyone and not bow to anyone was just shocking. Just shocking. This book takes you through the starts of understanding one's darkest pit, like when you've hit rock bottom, when she is just drinking and sleeping with any guy that will be in front of her and just, yeah, basically being drunk every day. That was her resolution to the extreme sadness that she felt in her soul. And then friends putting an ultimatum. Like they sat her down. It was an intervention. She absolutely hated it. They're low key afraid of her because they don't know what she can do now that she's been giving these powers by the cauldron. And even she, herself, she's a little afraid of what these powers mean and why they feel so intensely in her body. But her character has always been one of being like a badass and being mean and being ruthless and not caring and standing up with her truth and talking back, which is one of her flaws. Like she just will not hold back. She will try to stab harder. She will try to hurt more. She knows where it's going to hurt and will say the words that will totally crash. And then she feels like it's a win, which is a very toxic behavior that I think she later on understands. But throughout the book, we have to withstand her being horrible to these people around her that care for her because she just hates herself so much that she rather win in these arguments and not care to hurt these people that she knows are trying to do what's best for her. So she's forced to do this. She goes through the process. And that process to me was such a beautiful, beautiful explanation of how much time and effort it takes to heal from trauma, to grow into the better version of yourself. It was slow and it needed to be slow because you don't heal, one day next week and next month. If you've been going through a ton of stuff the way that she was, she has been through so much. And then she also takes it as a failure on her part. So, not protecting her dad, not protecting Fyra, not helping Fyra when they were just extremely poor. Um, there's so much guilt built inside her. That doesn't heal from one day to the other. Also, I think the very realistic part is that she's reluctant to it at first. It's not just this like, oh, thanks guys. Like, sure, let me start my healing journey. Like, she's pissed. She's pissed. She's like alcohol deprived. She is shaking. She feels weak as hell because she hasn't been eating right. And she's just been like basically fogging her brain for so long, for a whole year, that at this point, the most minimal workout, the most minimal effort takes a toll on her, takes a toll on her body. I loved the process of her learning to grow in her physical body. So healing from the alcohol and then starting to feed herself good food. This warrior Cassian, who is also just very, to the benefit of all of us, extremely hot. And he is just being as patient as he can with this girl who's just being the biggest bitch to him. And it's humbling and also very inspiring because as a girl myself that is not super fit, it's humbling to know that you just have to start small. You can't just jump into the swords immediately. You have to start slow. You have to start stretching. You have to start with the basics and cover those first. I, for one, want to be immediately amazing. And that's not going to happen. So I'm glad that they just show Nesta struggling through the first like 2 weeks just to get super sore from stretching and from doing the most basic things. That was a journey that I really enjoyed. I think it just speaks to the power of training your mind and training your body, and that it's going to take time, both to gain that endurance physically and to find a routine that helps you blow off some steam. But also the process that it takes to heal from pains and overthinking and those agonizing thoughts that we may have recurringly, or that may cause nightmares, or that may cause, chills in your body because you think about those scenarios. It just takes time. It takes time and it takes work and it takes practice to deal with those thoughts. Okay. So next thing that I thought was so worth talking about, so worth commenting on, is the sisterhood. Because the sisterhood built these friends that Nesta finds are just the most exciting and the most lovely feelings that we get to read in her process of finding friends that understand her, that love her for who she is, even though she thinks like once they find out who I really am, once they find out my flaws and what I've done, that I was a drunken and that I was like just sleeping with anybody and that I've disappointed, the rulers of this court, she thinks they're going to reject her. But it's a process. This friendship is a process. It took time. Her friendship with Gwyn took time. Her friendship with Emery took time. But the connection that they had through trauma helped them understand each other, helped them stay strong, and also helped them push each other towards progress. And that really just reminds us of what real friends do. Real friends are going to pull you out from your darkest places. They are really rocks in your life that are so necessary. And even though I loved that, even though Nesta was finding such a connection with Cassian at that point, they're having they're sleeping together. They're like having this incredible, fun and loving relationship that's starting to build. That's separate from friendship. Friendship brought her to a different space of healing. Her girls, Emery and Gwyn, they had her back. They pushed her to laugh and to kind of keep things silly when everything around Nesta was not silly. Everything was so serious and dark and ugly and powerful. So the fact that Gwyn And Emery knew her and knew that side of her and pulled that beautiful side for her. That pulled that beautiful side of her was so exciting to watch. It just tells you that friends are there for you in a different way that a loving partner can be there for you. Friends are there for you and want to hear the depth of your stories and want to have fun with you. That night that they spent together in the House of Wind was incredible. They're having fun. Nesta's like being silly for the first time in forever, um, because she finally found a group of friends where she can be herself and she is accepted for who she is. It's kind of like, she had her sisters, and you don't get to choose your sisters that you're born with. That family, we don't get to choose the family. And sometimes we don't like the family and sometimes we love them, right? Like Elaine and Fira. But your friends, you do get to choose. And that sort of acceptance of we meet each other, we know each other, and we love each other, and it's a choice. This relationship is a choice. And that sisterhood that they created was just chef's kiss. I loved it. I loved what they brought out of her. And I love that she also cared for them so deeply, just pushing them to come into the warrior zone, train with her. She found healing throughout the exercises and the training, the physical training, and she wanted that for Gwen, and she wanted that for Emery. That's crucial to her storyline and crucial to her growth. She wouldn't have gotten there without the friends that were with her. So that was just the most beautiful thing. The sisterhood explained and the friendship explained throughout this book really it makes you appreciate the friends that you have around you. It makes you want to be a better friend and check in on the people that you love. So I thought that was super special. The sisterhood found in Emery, Gwen, and Nesta. So now we're obviously going to have to talk about Cassian and Nesta, but I can't. I can't. First of all, the temperature is up. Okay, in this last book, I was like, okay, this is way more serious. Now, I fear that, whoever watches this video, if you've read other fantasy or romantic fantasy, this might be mild, but it's spicy in my terms, being the first fantasy book that I read, being the first romantic fantasy that I read. I had, read A Court of Thorns and Roses and Mist and Fury, which I loved, and I could talk like hours about Mist and Fury, but A Court of Silver Flames, I was like shocked at the level, at the detail, at the amount of scenes that we get from Cassian and Nesta. And I mean, is it surprising that they would be like that? No. I mean, Cassian's like that strong warrior. He's not very good with his words the way that Rhys is. He's not mysterious. He kind of wears his heart on his sleeve, different from Azriel, who is Azriel is just, I have so much love for Azriel and Rhys. Okay, it's crazy, but Cassian is just kind of always described as an Illyrian brute, which I hate. I hate that every time they insult Cassian, I'm so pissed. I'm so angry. And I want to defend him immediately. But it's not surprising that this man, has that way of dealing with those situations. And Nesta is this very hard exterior. She is like so tough to manage. Most, guys would be so afraid of her. And so obviously Cassian being able to take Nesta on for the challenge. And later on, we learn why they're just so perfect for each other in all of these scenes. It's freaking amazing. The level of detail, I'm not mad about it. I'm not saying I'm mad about it. I was just surprised, okay, by it. But I'm sure a lot of other creators will talk in depth about that. I think I wanted to point out the other pieces of The Court of Silver Flames that I loved, such as the sisterhood part, the overcoming of trauma, and the process to go through physical growth and mental growth. Okay, some of the favorite quotes that are in the book. This is what he says to her, and I think it's so freaking beautiful. I'm going to tell you that you will get through it. that you will face all of this and you will get through it. That these tears are good, Nesta. These tears mean you care. I'm going to tell you that it is not too late, not for any of it. And I can't tell you when or how, but it will get better. What you feel, this guilt and pain and self loathing, you will get through it, but only if you're willing to fight. Only if you're willing to face it and embrace it and walk through it to emerge on the other side of it. And maybe you will still feel that tinge of pain, but there is another side, a better side. You could end the book there, right? I mean, you could just end the book there, and it's like the perfect answer to this pain. She is like shaking, she is crying, she's having the most horrible day, of realization. And she is also just confessing to her fears and her guilt. And this caring man that loves her so much and also has been through years and years of pain and suffering and guilt understands her, but he got through it. And it doesn't mean that he doesn't feel pain, and it doesn't mean that he doesn't feel guilt, but that he doesn't choose self-loathing as the answer. He doesn't choose to just hurt himself physically and mentally as the answer. He knows that there's a side of trauma, past trauma, that you can heal from the hatred and the guilt and the pain, while still writing out the emotions, but living life to your fullest potential, living life to get better, to feel better, to make amends with those that you can, and ask for forgiveness if, that's what the guilt is eating you up for. You can ask for forgiveness. You might not receive it, but what you need to do is take care of yourself, of your heart and your mind and your thoughts, so that you're not pushed to the edge again. And if you have people that love you, it's going to be much easier to ride through this wave past the trauma. So, I mean, it was the most beautiful reflection of the process and the lengthy, lengthy process that it is to heal. It was just gorgeous. This is She's gone through down the steps, and she is now very much in her most healing stage, and she feels empowered now. She knows that she has the strength to get better mentally and physically, and she believes it in her heart. She now has a group of people that she loves and wants to be surrounded by, which are her friends, Emery and Gwen. And so it says, she would not be mastered by anything again. She was the master of herself. Amen. Amen. Exactly. Like, she finally understands that she has the power and control to do better, to get better, to fix her vices, to amend her relationships. It is in her power to just to do better for herself and for the people around her and for the people that she loves. So that came after a ton of working on herself. And it's really the message that I think A Court of Silver Flames has for all of us girls. Like, just don't give up on yourself. No matter what you've been through, it's in our control to be better. It's in our control to find the resources, to look out for yourself, to feed yourself, healthy food, to work out and clear our mind and to feel better. And really, it just makes me want to meditate more, which I am horrible at doing. And it also makes me want to um, try harder, just to push myself to do better and to know that I can do this. Like, you can do this, I can do this. She failed many times trying to go down those 10,000 steps before she reached that goal. And it's going to be the same for us. It's going to take time, but it's really an invitation to just keep trying and try your best to get better each day and get rid of those vices that are not doing you any good anymore. And even though you're not going to be trained by a hot Illyrian warrior, well, it might just be a trainer at LA Fitness, but or it might just be like your boyfriend or your partner or your husband that you're training with, or by yourself. It doesn't have to be with anyone. But just kind of know that all of these steps, every push up, every squat, every breath work that you do, every little bit of meditation, every step that you take towards becoming a better version of yourself is just getting you to the next step. It is helping. Even though you can't see it on the day-to-day ordinary lifestyle, building those good habits are going to make the difference in the long run. So I can't wait to read more fantasy. Please let me know if what the next book should be. It was seriously my first author of romantic fantasy and my first book series. So please let me know what I should do next. Should I just keep going with Sarah J. Maas and her series? I'm sure there's many other beautiful authors that create stories that are engaging and amazing and have an incredible reflection for us. I would love to hear that. I think we've covered most of it. Thank you for hearing me out and hearing my opinions and thoughts on this book. I'm so excited to do more. I freaking love reading. And it was just a joy. It was a joy and a journey to go with Nesta and be first very annoyed by her and then be very inspired by her growth to do the same. And we're also masters of ourselves. We can get better and control our situation by taking steps towards our physical and mental well being. So take care, read some nice books, and let me know which one I should read too. Bye.